everyone, how's it going? I remember one time hearing a saying that said, see the world through the eyes of a child. And it was funny because I stopped and thought about that for a minute, and it really got me thinking about what exactly that meant. And I actually got an understanding of it firsthand with my two grandkids, the older ones. So yes, we had a death in the family, and as a result, my son was left with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. Now, he was living out of state, and my husband, being who he is, said, our son needs us, you need to go. So I wind up moving to his state, and I wind up living down there for a few years to help him out with the kids, because he already had enough on his plate. So what really got me was the fact that kids literally are on their own timeline. And there's a reason for that. One of the grandkids would be up at the crack of dawn. Like, I remember making these darkening shades just to get him to sleep till like 6. If not, as soon as that light hit, 4:30, 4:45, even if it was just a smidge of light, he would be up. And that was just the way he was. Now, the other one, not so much. He liked to sleep. He wasn't grumpy or he wasn't hard to wake up. He just didn't see the need to wake up at 6 in the morning if he didn't have to get up till 7 o'clock or 7:30 for school, for preschool when he was going. So it struck me as how different they are. But then the other thing that got me was their demeanor. I remember my room was right across from theirs, and every morning I would hear them rise and I would hear them start singing. Whatever the song of the day was from whatever show they had seen, they would start singing. And it was such an incredible way to be woken up or to listen to it, even though I was already awake, to how they started the day. But one of the things that really hit me was when we would go for walks, because I like to get them out into nature. I'd like to just get them out of the house and not just have them sitting in front of a television or an electronic device, because they had suffered a loss. And the youngest, who was 1 and turned 2 shortly after, all he knew was that mom was gone. Why? We explained it as best we could, but to him, he just didn't understand. And what he wanted to wind up doing over time was, he said, well, you can be my mom. I'm like, no, baby, I'm your grandmother, or your JJ, as they call me. I said, and that's a lot more fun, because I don't have to do the tough things that mommies have to do to make sure you're on the right path. Now, the older one, unfortunately, because he was 3, almost 4, and actually turned 4 shortly after, he remembered. He remembered everything, because his mom, Sarah, was very hands-on, and she loved being a mom. So she dotted on him completely. And sadly, when Tony was born, the younger one, she got diagnosed with cancer shortly after, so she didn't have the opportunity to do everything she wanted with him. So Tony was left mostly to my care during the day and his dad at night, because she was in treatment or she wasn't feeling well, she was in the hospital. So I would get him out of the house, let's go for walks, we'd take the dogs and just go lost on these adventures. And when you're little, I could be in the back of a small park, and to them they were like out in the jungle or the wilderness. This is where I learned to see the world through a child's eye, because they slow everything down. And the thing that got me was, we would walk down this river walk. Now, it's the same river walk. It's maybe a quarter of a mile, not even that. And we would walk it up and walk it back. Every single time we went on this walk, they noticed something different. They noticed the geese. They noticed the birds. They noticed, oh, look, I think there's a fish in the water. They noticed these beautiful stairs that someone had put as an art exhibit made out of tiles, and they're like, oh, we need to take a picture on that. They love to have their picture taken, and they love to take pictures. So we would stop and we would take pictures of the geese, and we would take pictures of the stairs, and we would take pictures of flowers or weeds, whatever it was that particular day caught their attention. And because they did that, every single walk seemed like a completely different walk. Like we were in a completely different place. Even though we weren't, we were in the same place that we always walked. And the fact that they slowed it down, we didn't rush, we didn't run. You know, I was used to running, and I had a double stroller that I would use to get them around, because of course, like a crazy person that I am, not only did I have 2 kids, I had 2 dogs walking with me. But sometimes they would walk, and if anybody knows a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, when they're walking and they're in their own little world, they are slow. But that was okay. It taught me to really look at the petals, to really look at the waves, to really look at the feathers on the duck, to realize that there's this gorgeous art made out of tiles, but then to notice that there's this little red tile and a blue one and a white one, and all together they make this incredible picture. And that was something that has stuck with me even after my son remarried and I moved back home, to take the time to see the world through a child's eye. And it's something for you parents, I need to drive this point home. Because when you become a grandparent, it's not that you love your grandkids more. It's that because life has slowed down a bit, you have the opportunity to appreciate them and take them in more. And then you see a lot of their parents' traits in them that you're like, wow, I guess I didn't notice this before. Or why didn't I stare at my child as much as I stare at my grandchild when he's talking? And I'm amazed by his expressions and the things he says and does. Because sometimes, especially for me, I was in survival mode. Because I had to make sure there was food on the table and kids got out to where they needed to go. And even when I got remarried and I had my wonderful husband, someone still needed to take care of our brood and make sure that everybody was where they needed to be and got picked up from where they needed to be. So the whole point of this is, guys, even in your everyday duties, while you're driving to work, while you're at work, while you're doing laundry, while you're fixing your car, whatever it is that you're doing, look at it through the eyes of a child. Really take it in, because this day is a gift that we have been given, and this day is not going to come back. This is it for today. I can't do anything about yesterday. I can't do anything about tomorrow because it's not here. But this minute, today, that's what we've got. So I need to encourage you guys to take it in, observe it. What is it around you that you can just be in awe of? Whether it's your children, whether it's even something your coworkers might do, or your neighbor, where you all of a sudden you're like, wow, my neighbor grows these amazing roses and they smell incredible in the spring. You know, just take that second. When I leave my house, I take that second to hear the birds chirping, and I'm like, wow, they sound amazing. I love that sound. And just be grateful for it. And that's what you guys need to do. Take it in and enjoy every single minute of that day, no matter how hectic it might be. That's it for me. And remember, don't let anyone ever steal your dreams away.